Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ready to Roll Embers Beneath the Mountains, our 13th session.
Unlucky number.
We will
TPK.
Yep. We will get started with our excuse me. Get started with our recap of last session by Piotr. Ian, who's plays Piotr, and then we'll go from there.
Last time on Ready to Roll, Artyom and Anya start down the road to reconciliation. Anya explained a bit about what makes her tick, and the united party trudged forward for now. Does Alistair make a good replacement for a teddy bear? Will the team achieve their purpose or die trying? Are there any other syllables to Anya's name that the party has not yet discovered? Find the answers to this and many other questions that tug at your soul this time and the next times here on Ready to Roll.
That is our bard. That's our.
That's good.
Now you've got me like trying to count them all. Like, oh, there's a lot.
I just
You have the most syllables.
I was listening to like the last session over again, or at least parts of it, to like make sure I got everything, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's a lot of syllables." Anyway, sorry.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. So we'll pick up. So when we did leave, our party, excuse me, Zhelaniye, they had just walked into the dining hall area, I believe, of where was sitting Svetla, Zhelaniye's sister, who just recognized her. So again, Svetla, it looks, almost exactly like an older Zhelaniye, same gray skin, pure, I forget what color eyes Zhelaniye has. Red, pure red eyes, same. The only difference is that her horns are kind of like more circular and ram-like, and we lost Mike. And so that's the primary difference between the two of them. Otherwise, you would swear that they were twin sisters. And so she's just staring in surprise at Zhelaniye, and she stands up, and it's like, "We thought you were dead."
Blame you.
Where have you been?
Just sort of out hiding, trying to stay safe.
Safe from what?
Well,
what are you trying to stay safe from that your family couldn't protect you from?
what do you remember of what happened? I know you weren't there.
I don't know. I came to, as soon as I heard the news, everyone was dead except for Vitaly. And we couldn't find any sign of you. And, Vitaly didn't remember what happened. He just woke up covered in the blood of the rest of our family.
Yeah, so I came home that day and there were a lot of people in the courtyard and there was a lot of blood and I couldn't really see what was happening. And the people started to come after me to chase me, and so I ran away and I didn't come back.
What people?
I don't know, to be honest. I wondered if you knew. If maybe they were people who didn't like what the father did, if his personality, I don't know.
There were no signs of anyone. We didn't know who committed the attacks. Everyone was just dead.
Okay.
But until now, it's just been me and Vitaly.
Is he okay? Where is he?
He's in Cordovan. It took a while, but he eventually took over Father's place. He is the Baron now.
Okay. I imagine he's not a big fan of that.
I mean, no, but
Okay.
his steward is, his steward helps him quite a lot. He's quite grateful for the help that he receives.
Did my dad have a steward that I would remember?
He did. You might not remember his name.
Yeah.
But he did have a steward. But you can guess based upon the way that Svetla is talking, it's probably not the same one.
Okay. How long since you've seen him?
I go
I'm
by at least once a month and go visit, just like I did when you lived there.
It's so good to see you. Can I hug you? I want to be sure you're real.
Of course. So she runs up and just hugs you as tight as anyone has hugged you in your life. It's tighter than anyone has hugged you in a long time, and you can just feel these loving emotions that you haven't felt in years. And it's you get a sense that you're finally home.
Oh, definitely some tears. Trying not to be extremely obvious, at least to the party. Sveta can see, I don't care. These guys are my new friends. I haven't been hanging out with them this whole time, I promise. It's recent.
Yes, of course. Any friend of Zhela is a friend of mine.
Hi.
Particularly if you've been helping my baby sister. She just turns and gives you all a very big, warm smile. And you just
This
get.
is Alistair.
Of course, we can. We do have a roost for our own birds that we're sure Alistair would be quite comfortable in if you wanted to put him there. We don't look kindly into having animals inside the home, but I can tell you're not from Morther, so you wouldn't necessarily know that. But please tell me, who are you? Introduce yourselves.
Oh, well, good to meet you. I'm Drith Sabin. And this is Alistair, like I've said. And Alistair extends a talon, or a foot.
And she reaches up and she takes it and shakes it very lightly. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Sveta Rostisovlona Mokova.
Sveta.
Gesundheit.
Good to meet you.
I am Corvette. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for your hospitality.
Corvette. Pleasure.
And I'm. Oh,
No, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I'm Pute. And Piotr's out of the campaign.
You've been
That is
kicked
where
out
he
of the
died.
house.
Death by coffin choke.
I'm poisoned. I poisoned. I'm dad.
Anyway.
I'm Piotr. It's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance under what are admittedly interesting circumstances.
I mean, I would say they are blessed circumstances. It's not every day that your sister comes back from the dead.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. Piotr's just gonna shut up.
Probably for the first time in his life.
Corvette just like covers a small laugh at that.
Alright, she looks at Artyom and she kind of bows. Father?
Brother, I'm just a low-level priest. You just call me Artyom. I'm not quite a father.
Ah, I see.
I don't have any children, you see.
Well, of course.
By low level, he means. Oh, never mind. Sorry. I was gonna say by low level, he means level 5.
So when she stops paying attention to me, can I surreptitiously cast Detect Evil and Good?
Yeah.
Down on my sister? Rude.
Hey, we doubt everybody
Amazing.
these days, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna cast.
Give me a sleight of hand check to surreptitiously cast it.
Where's my dice?
Just do it brazenly. No offense, but
I have suspicions you may be evil. No, Sveta is the best person in the whole world. If you cast doubts or aspersions on her,
Well,
I
she may
question
not
you.
be Feta, so rolled a 9.
All right. Well, let's see. She's not. Yeah, you definitely didn't. Because she was turning her attention to Kadiak, so she was just using her passive perception. So you definitely didn't surreptitiously cast the spell. But she doesn't seem to comment on it. She does. You do get. She just appears the same, slightly fiendish that you get from Zhelaniye. But like not full on fiend. So she looks at Kadiak, and her gaze is kind of not as kind. Looking at Kadiak, she's like, "You're one of the raiders, are you not?"
Been in the past, yes. I am Kadiak.
Cordovan was just recently hit by a group of raiders. You may not be associated with those particular raiders, but it would be best if you did not look like one of them if you were to go to town.
That would probably be a good idea. It's odd though, it's an off season for raiding.
This is a particularly zealous raider. She's been a thorn in the side of many of the coast cities. And she's managed to get quite
Her
a
name?
big following. I'm sure, yes, I will know her name momentarily.
allow me to search my notes.
Kadiak, what is raiding?
Her name
It's like
is...
rating. A, B, C, D, F.
Her
Ubiquitous.
name is Podara. And
Sorry.
she claims to be
Ring any
on
bells
the-
for me?
What was that?
That name
does
ring any bells for
ring
me?
a bell from you. It is one of the other 3 candidates that left with you when you went
Ooh.
on the.
Mm-hmm.
on the journey.
Ooh, what the?
She claims to be on the path of the Urdine, and claims to be very close to the end of the path.
What was her
Does
name?
she now?
Very.
Podar.
Podara.
Kodar. Thank you.
She went off with quite a bit of riches last time she was here. Luckily, we have managed to increase our defenses since that time, but we are still recovering economically from her attack. So I can find you a change of clothes. I'm sure that my husband might have something that could be altered to fit you. But so that way,
Wonderful. If not, I can make do with servant's clothes even.
that
Corvette,
Not to impose.
of course.
excuse me. I look down at my clothes. Would you happen to have an extra change of clothes I might be able to
Certainly, my husband is out
exchange for?
My husband is out of town on business. He won't be back for a month. I'm sure he won't miss a few articles of clothing.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a bath?
We do definitely have baths in here.
Oh,
In the
it would be-
in the
I would love a bath.
but, so I mean, you must be tired from your journey to arrive here. I'm tired that I've been talking your ears off. I can have a servant escort you to the baths and show you some rooms for the night, and then we can catch up over dinner.
I think we'd appreciate that.
Okay. So with that, she claps her hands, and you see, a group of servants come in. Yes, Artyom. You're muted.
Muted.
You're on mute.
Sorry.
I will do that every time today if that happens.
I muted to not make a lot of noise while I went and grabbed my dice. Can I offer to bless her house? But while I'm blessing her house, I cast detect magic.
Still has
Um,
trust issues.
You can offer, but she is going to turn it down, saying it has already been blessed by a priest in the past.
Well, it's just like
She's my sister. He's gonna
courtesy.
hate her immediately.
it's a courtesy, and if you please permit me to do this for you.
I appreciate the offer, but I insist that you go get bathed and prepared for the meal first, and then maybe afterwards we can see. I mean, you also have an opportunity while you're bathing to cast detect magic if you desire, away from
Yes,
watchful
but
eyes.
not with her right there.
True.
Are you gonna bathe with her right there? Probably not.
She's a married woman. How dare you?
That's my sister, please.
But so the servants
I
take
have
you.
eyes for only one woman, and that's the dragon goddess.
Not a Catholic priest. You can marry if you want. But
But he doesn't.
anyway, so the servants arrive and take you off towards the baths. There are two baths. There are those for men and those for women, and they send you based upon your identities and go your way, send you there.
Now, Drith, this is what's called propriety.
Propriety.
This is a very important lesson to learn and to take
You're
note
saying
of.
that as Drith is taking off his clothes outside the.
One of the
All right.
female servants kind of stops and just stares and looks Drith up and down.
No. Push him into the next room.
Drith feels very uncomfortable and immediately huddles up, and he doesn't understand why. So what was that about? Trying to eat me?
Yes.
Anya, I thought you said that you guys don't eat people.
Was she a
Are
tiefling?
all the
The
servants
servant isn't actually a tiefling, no. Servants,
Okay.
servants aren't a tiefling.
Then forget I said
Also,
that.
what is the husband like?
The husband, you didn't really know him.
Yeah, I didn't
You really
specify
meet him.
anything.
I mean, you didn't really meet him. He apparently is often away on business.
Yeah.
In other parts of the empire. He's clearly, and the way Svetla explained it to you when you were younger is he's trying to build his stature and reputation to raise the prosperity of his household, which is why he, a minor lord, married upwards the daughter of a baron. And so you do know that the house, the Mokov house, does do lots of trading across the empire, and is considered a wealthy merchant house. So, which is part of why your father, who was, was very keen on marrying into that household, kind of bring it under the fold of the Katenkov house. But
What's his name?
Yeah.
I
that's
never
an
thought of it.
excellent question. I was hoping it was somewhere here in your
I never gave him a
document,
name.
and you didn't, and
or
that's
anything.
my bad. His name is going to be
Okay, Google, give me a name.
Brent.
Oh, also, sorry for anyone whose home I just
His
set
name
on
is
high alert.
his name is Shulek.
Ha.
Shulek. Julek. Shulek.
Great name for a great dude.
Julek. What was the last name one more time?
Mokhof. Mokhof.
I'm okay, Angel. Since this family is all about trading across the Empire, am I familiar with them at all?
Yeah. Give me a history check.
Sweet. Do. That's awesome, and my history is awesome. 23.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a 19.
All right. Yeah, you've definitely heard of them. You've heard of Zulek. He's part of this minor trading house. Like it's not a small family. It's not like it's only here in Cordovin.
Mhm.
They have estates all over the empire, but they're not powerful enough to have raised in stature to beyond the point of being minor lords. So you've definitely heard of them.
Cool. Wow. Your sister. I don't know. Wait, we're in the different baths. Her sister married into I guess he married into a great family. She married into a great, wealthy family. So they got some influence here, guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Never understood the marrying into someone's family for gain. Like, why would you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody that the whole reason you married them is for their money or for their power or for their influence? Would that be miserable?
Yeah, to some. To some it is. To others,
The person.
they want that. Depends on what their ambitions are, what their goals are.
But isn't that why there's so much cheating and backstabbing and murdering and infidelity among nobles?
That can be a part of it, yes. And Cora's is like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Just write that down. I don't understand. Oh, wait, that's me. All right.
Drith quickly gets his notebook and realizes that he shouldn't write in it in the bath.
Oh, no.
All right. So
When water gets on paper,
And Drith writes that down.
You've never taken a bath with your notebook that you've had for so long.
You
He's
normally
just never
wait
taken
for the rain.
I thought we had baths
Drith's
in
really
Federal
flustered
Brand or
with.
something.
Let's
whatever
remember that
happened with
Drith is the one who
servant
asked
woman.
if there were baths.
Yeah.
All right. So you take your baths, plural, since there are multiple of you, and when you come out, you do find a set of clothes for each of you.
Wait, I can't wear my
Set of
chainmail?
clothes. For Artyom, you do find a set of of new priest robes. And everyone else, you find something that you'd be accustomed to based upon your stature, except for Drith and Kadiak, because she doesn't have traditional clothing of your cultures, so you just have they are nice clothes. We were guessing from the quickly modified from her husband's what is that called? Closet.
Wardrobe.
Wardrobe. Yes, that's the word. Quickly modified from her husband's wardrobe to fit Kadiak at least. They're probably just a little loose on Drith, or maybe a little tight. I don't know. But
Say a little.
Tom's just back.
And the servants guide you downstairs towards the dining hall.
Wait, my armor is part of my religion.
It's customary to not wear armor when you're at dinner. And I know that you're convinced you're in danger, but no one else is.
Well, that's alright, because I always have my armor on me anyway, so. It doesn't help much, I'm saying.
need
It
armor.
really doesn't. But yeah,
I can't
Kadiak-
use armor.
So, yeah, you can.
Well, I don't have my armor
good,
on.
but I
I'm going to
don't.
change it to something nicer. I also imagine, because I disguised self before we got in, I imagine that might be running out.
Oh, no.
Probably.
Yeah, great.
Oh, because you were hiding all your scars and stuff. That's right. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
disguise self. Oh yeah. So you do come. So you arrive in the dining hall, and Svetla is sat at the front of the head of the table, with a seat next to her for Zhelaniye. And then there are 5 other dining places set for the rest of you. I counted right. Yeah, that's 5.
I'm assuming that I will be placed in the spot of least preference and recognition, right?
Yeah, you and Drith are kind of at the very end of the table, the farthest down, and despite Corvit's attempts, Corvit is actually closest to the front, along with Artyom, and then Piotr follows them. So, so you come and you sit down.
Despite my attempts, I love it.
And Svetla does look at Zhelaniye as she approaches and kind of reaches out her hand and touches your face and is like, "What happened to you while you were gone?"
What? More than I can say all at once.
Well,
It was a hard few years.
we'll have plenty of time to talk about it from now on. Because
Yeah.
you're home.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's not gonna let you leave.
Maybe I don't want to leave, huh?
Fine, stay here. See if I care.
Guys, you guys just had made up. That's not right now, please.
So you all sit down, and she gives you a very nice traditional Mordviren meal, lamb laced with lots of garlic to ward off the vampires.
They're borscht.
Yep. And
Did you say borscht? Like, as in, like,
Borscht.
they're the borscht?
No.
No,
Anyway,
borscht is
sorry.
in like the beet soup.
so you have so you sit down to the meal. There is a bunch of there's some ale at all your places, and she looks at you and she looks at Artyom and says, "Brother Artyom, would you care to bless the meal?" You're not Artyom.
Sure.
You're
Oh, crap.
Piotr.
Why is his name stuck in my head in that? Oh my god.
Have you been playing Metro recently?
You were
I
trying to
don't-
be Piotr all Monday's
I haven't played
game,
Metro
but now you're
since
not.
I haven't played Anyway, sorry. I don't know what. Anyway, goodness gracious. Please continue.
All right. How big is the table?
Average size, large enough to hold all of you, like 20 feet long, sure, something like that. I don't know, a plot appropriate size.
Big table.
Okay, well, I'm going to use purify food and drink, but it's only going to purify the food right in front of pretty much me, Corvit, Anya, and her sister, since I'm guessing that's probably like 5 footish of the big, long, 10 footish table, because it's a 5 foot radius sphere.
How-
A 5
So-
foot radius
sphere.
be 5 feet.
That's
center.
radius. That's not diameter. That's 10 feet
Yeah, it's
diameter.
still
so
10
that
feet
could cover the entire
diameter.
table.
Oh,
You
you're
could-
right.
you
It
could
goes like
cover
this.
everyone.
Okay, cool. So I'm covering everybody's food, and at the risk of being real life blasphemous, I'm not gonna come up with a prayer, but he's gonna say nice things about hospitality of the home and beauty of the world and kindness of the host, and by the mystical mighty power of the gold dragon, amen, in Mordviren. And
Well-
then
And Cadillac disappears in the middle of
I'm offended by your Mordviran prayer. I'm gonna specifically leave Cadillacs food unpurified. But
Yes,
only
'cause that's how that spell works.
it's that all the food is now free from poison and disease.
Okay.
Heck yes.
Well, if it was poisoned or diseased, it's free from it now.
Heck yes.
Now we won't know.
I know.
That's the point. I mean, I had two options. I could detect poison and disease, or I could just straight up purify it. So,
Because in that way, you could do it without offending them. If you're just like, oh, I'd like to, and they already asked you, so
yeah.
So Svetla looks over and says, dig in, and let us get to know each other once again. For much has changed in the years that you've been gone. But yet, not much has. But first, I'd like to know a little bit more about your companions. She looks first at Corvette and says, you have noble bearing. I am accustomed to identifying that in my guests and those I know. Please, tell me a bit about yourself.
I'm from the Southern Isles. So, about as far away from here as you could get
Yes,
in
about.
Mortimer. So,
Just about.
yeah, just from there.
Excellent.
And, yeah,
Your family?
I grew up. Where is it? My father was the. Gosh dang it. Where are my notes?
I'm scrambling
Okay.
for mine right now.
This is
Yeah, I'm
the
trying to-
episode. The episode title should be. Let me check my notes.
Yeah,
Real
seriously.
quick.
Everybody, get your notes out now. Just be prepared.
All right. Well, there's a city in the Southern Isles where the monastery was. My father was the
Arthmail?
Arthmel. Yeah, Arthmel. Thank you. Trying to find it. My father was the governor of Arthmel, and above him was the baron. So,
I need a
We-
deception check.
oh yeah,
Because that's not
Deception
true.
check.
14.
She doesn't comment on your story. She nods.
Mm.
Excellent. That reminds me, the governor's name of the Southern Isles. I'm not very familiar with that part of the empire.
Fetch. I don't even. Where is it?
Well,
Well, hashtag. Let me check my notes real fast.
Hashtag. I might have to go back a ways and find that real fast.
you're good. It was.
Not
I
Conrad.
don't think
Conrad was the boyar. That's my dad, my real dad.
You don't actually have a name for it listed in your notes. You can come up with one if you want, or say an appropriate name, and that's also fine. A plot appropriate name.
Plot appropriate
A
name.
plot appropriate.
Plot appropriate role.
Gosh. I don't.
The readiness seems
Russian
to be
names.
lacking.
Plot appropriate name. Come on.
You're good.
Dimitri.
Dimitri. Excellent. That's common enough name that not she doesn't raise any suspicion. So she goes, "No, Dimitri, of course." Excellent. And she points to. She actually next she points at Piotr and says, "You have noble bearing, but not quite the same as our guests, and of course my sister. What you are? Who are you, Piotr?"
I am Piotr, obviously. I come from meager circumstances, but when I was young, certain opportunities were presented to me, and I took them. Before certain events of plot appropriate amount of time ago. What's it been? 2 weeks?
Yeah, about
Like a
2-3
month,
weeks,
right?
almost a month.
A month, okay.
Because I thought it was going to
about-
take us a full month to get to Cordovan
Yeah,
from
so it's about
Yeah,
about
yeah,
a
that's
month.
right.
yeah.
Cordovan.
Before about a month ago, I was a diplomat who helped to build coalitions against pirating parties and raiding parties, and now I am here
Yeah.
trying to
Wow.
piece together some things.
Perhaps you're on an assignment trying to help bring some of those coalitions up to Cordovan.
You mean like right now? No, we
that's a shame.
are.
Particularly considering that we were just raided. Quite a shame.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's been devastating on the local economy and the people, and we've been doing our best to alleviate the pains and burdens of our people, but it's been difficult, and we could certainly use imperial aid. And she looks at Artyom and says, "A blind priest is not a common sight. You must have a very interesting story. Please, would you care to divulge some of it?"
I don't have common sight either. I have not much to say, as you are most likely familiar with priests. We grow up lighting candles and reading books, and
Though
They
you surely
can't
much
make-
less reading than the rest.
well, figuratively,
That's my sister for
won't
sure.
lie. I did not have the sight to see that joke coming.
The foresight.
But no, we invented a whole feeling language for me.
Interesting.
It's
Quite.
called
You'll have to
Braille.
teach me this.
We
Braille
have
at
just
some point.
Brawley.
we've just introduced Braille
Riley.
into this world.
You'll have to
gotta
teach
come
me
up
at
with
some
some
point.
Braille.
I've been quite
uh,
interested in learning new languages.
It's difficult without the enhanced touch that comes from not being able to see anything. You see, your other senses become sharper. Just I've explained this quite a bit to Anya, actually, about how I
Anya.
use sounds and smells and all of
Yes,
these
all
other
your senses, including
other
your sense
senses.
of self-importance. Yeah, greatly
Kadiak
enhanced.
will speak up. Not much sense of humor, though.
Anya casts vicious mockery.
Be careful about mocking a priest, particularly when I come to bless this land, as it seems it is in a time of trial and could use some aid from the dragon goddess.
We pray for it every day. She then looks at Drith. Says, "So, Drith.
Hi.
Tell me, where do you hail from?"
Oh, my community is called Nithra, and we come from we're on the continent of Antarin.
Oh,
So we have a lot of fun there in Nithra.
what kind of
Yep.
fun?
Oh, you know, turning into animals,
Really?
casting spells. Yeah, I have a couple little sisters who I used to have fun. Well, they're half sisters, but we used to have fun together until my stepdad would find us, and then he'd set me on fire.
Well, I would be quite intrigued. She'd set you on fire.
Yeah, he didn't want them tainted with a half elf because they're full elf.
We understand that kind of sentiment here in Mordor very well as our heritage. I feel for you, and I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, you got the horns and I got the beard.
But, and you turn into
How much of a beard does he have?
Well, he has a full beard. Go look at his
Good
You
beard.
got a sexy little beard.
Okay. Okay. Just
Did-
make-
Huh.
Well, I would be intrigued to see you, perform some of this transformation magic. Would you perhaps be willing to demonstrate?
Oh, do you want to see it right now?
Just
If
don't
she would be
give
willing.
him
No.
alcohol.
Just maybe be specific. Just ask for something specific.
Could you turn into a cat?
Oh, you got it. And then you see Drith anamorph into a little cat.
Is Albert
And he's,
Albert on his back?
No, Albert's outside,
Like-
right?
Albert like picks him up and just carries him off and eats him.
Alistair.
Albert.
Alistair.
Alistair. Sorry, there's so many owl-related names.
He turns into like because his white hair. He turns into that like the cat from Stuart Little.
Nice. And Svetla looks absolutely delighted to see this transformation. And then she's like, "Could you turn into a hawk?"
Drith turns back and says, "No, I haven't mastered turning into anything that can fly yet.
Shame.
But if you want to see me turn into a shark, I got you."
I would be afraid you would suffocate on land if I was to ask that.
Oh, that's a good point. I just have to go back in the bath.
And she looks at Kadiak. So if you're not here to raid and cause problems for my people, what brings you here?
Traveling with your sister and with these others, helping to protect them and to help them further accomplish what goals they have.
For what purpose? Surely you don't do this of your own means, your own desires.
I do. I too follow the Urdine path, but this Haldora is radical. She follows it in a way that I don't agree with, and I never have.
Well, it seems to be working for her.
Well, if she shows her face while I'm here, I'll make sure she stops.
That would be appreciated. But, well, please, and we've been talking for quite a while, and please enjoy your meals, and we can of course continue our conversation. Do any of you have anything that you wish to ask of me? Oh, cool. All right, so you continue your meal, and you just have have small talk at this point about the weather, about how the roads were from Poligorod to up here to Cordovan, things, just that kind of small talk. And then as the evening draws to a close, the servants come back out again and then Svetla informs you that they are here to take you to your rooms for the night. And she says you have free reign of the manor, with the exception of her room, obviously, and the wine cellar, because she'd preferred that you don't get drunk. But that's the only two places she forbids. And then she looks at Zhelaniye and says, "You and I," and she takes your hands, and it's like, "We have a lot to catch up on. If you'll come with me," and she takes you up to her private quarters. But before we get there, do the men have anything that they want to talk about with or do before we go to that particular can of worms?
Kadiak did need to talk to Drith.
Oh, hey, buddy.
He's gonna pull you aside. So, I know you are not of culture at all.
Yep,
We share share a certain kinship due to our connection with nature. And after the fortunate attack, I made you this. And he pulls out it's a mug, like stein, made from one of the skulls of the Vorpal bunnies.
This is exactly what I needed. This is... Oh, you don't know what this means to me. I love tea. I love tea, and I love that it's in the skull of one of the things that's been giving me nightmares, so that's for sure gonna cure my nightmares. Adiok, this is maybe the best and the best gift anyone's given me since you gave me that quarterstaff a while ago.
How big is the head of a Vorpal bunny? Like, how big is this?
I imagine that it's probably supplemented with like it's wood and like the. I mean, I don't know. Kadiak can describe it. Like
So
the head of the
it's-
vorpal bunny obviously isn't huge, but like
They're very little. Like rabbits' heads are small. How
I mean, a
big is
vorpal
it?
bunny would be
Yeah,
slightly
your
bigger
vorpal-
than the average rabbit, but
Okay.
Yeah. So that, and then it is like embedded in some wood and stuff. So it is not completely. It's not very small. It's not a huge, gallon glass or anything. But it probably holds 2 cups of liquid, maybe.
It's more
Well,
like
not
an
bad.
ornamentation. The skull is.
Yeah, a modern teacup and dinner glass sort of deal.
All right.
But it's tradition for when someone encounters their first brush with death at the hands of nature to receive a memento. I
This is
wanted
incredible.
you to have
Does
this.
this mean I'm one of you now? Do I have to start raiding or anything?
doesn't mean anything like that.
Okay,
If,
good.
if you wish to follow my path, I will see what I can do. But as of now, no. This is just a gift and an attempt to show you that I care.
Kadiak, this is so wonderful. And Drith is gonna run out and try to find one of the servants to get him some herbal tea right away.
and the servant's gonna be utterly horrified by this cup. It's gonna take you a minute to find one that calms down long enough to actually get you the tea, but it
Finds that girl that looked at him earlier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She just dives at the chance to get you this tea, and you might want to have RTM check it for stuff. I'm kidding.
Oh, Jim, check out this mug. Isn't this the best thing ever?
I'm just gonna give it a smell.
The other
Don't drink that.
other thing that Kadiak wants to do,
Yes.
other thing that Kadiak wanted to do, would be to find the kitchen and see if they have any brewery sort of place on the grounds.
Have any
Can
what?
I,
Brewery place.
Can I come with him? I'd like to speak with him.
Sure. You can go with him. Yeah, they have a brewery that you can go check out, investigate.
Head that way then. Artyom semi-blindly following behind.
I'm gonna make certain that I stumble into a wall. Kadiak, I need just a little bit more help, my friend.
Kadiak's just gonna reach back and then put his hand just right on Kadiak's back. Follow this.
We're going to tell me a little bit more about this path you're on. Why does your path seem to be a more noble one than this other? What was her name?
Podara, yeah.
Podara.
So
Why is her path assaulting innocents and your path seems to be one of saving the world?
let me see if I can get a good analogy for Mordeviran culture. Here's one. Right. If you learn to fight, if you learn to fight with a sword, oftentimes there are a few different things you can do with it. You can become a paladin, you can join an army, you can be a bandit, and all of these things are still following the path of a swordsman, yes? But they are implemented in different ways. Similarly, the Urdine path follows the followers of the us wanderers of the Urdine path. We have a calling, similar end and eventual goal that we are trying to reach. The way that we reach that goal and the use of the goal is oftentimes extremely different. If a bear were to wander into town, or if it sleeps in a cave in the mountains, the two bears' lives are extremely different. Often one would probably end quite early.
So, if we were to end up in conflict with this Podara, would you join her or would you join us?
The only way I would join Podara would be if the eldest of the elders would give me a promise that doing so is the only way to further any sort of noble goal. You have your saints, and then you have your dragon goddess. Maeve is an elder, and we have the leader of the elders. If that leader were to come down and point to Podara and say that following her is the absolute only way, that is anything short of that, I would not follow her.
Well, I don't know much about how often your elders speak to you, but since I've only ever spoken with one saint, that is reassuring, I guess. Zhelaniye's never appeared herself to me. You are a warrior. I'll kind of look around and kind of quietly go, oh, I'm a warrior. Hearing the story of this place being attacked and everything that Anya has revealed to us, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust her brother being the only one magically alive, and if he's now a puppet of the dark forces we're fighting against, do they really care to protect these people? I feel that I would be remiss if we didn't attempt to at least help these people learn to defend themselves, and I feel like
Agreed.
you're the only one.
And if I know Podara at all, which at one point I knew her extremely well, she has probably not changed the tactics which she has been using since that time for raiding, because they are ultimately effective. I've also sparred with her, and I have fought her, and I know how to stop her. If they will let me, I will gladly shield Cordovan from her raids. On a note that I will tell you only in the understanding that you will not repeat this. Cordovan is one of the worst cities to raid. I have raided plenty of times, and I'm not ashamed of it, but I have never raided Cordovan because there are, frankly, much easier and better targets. The only reason you would go for Cordovan is if you are prove something.
So if it's
Or
such a hard target, then how is she having so much success?
because they aren't used to raiders, and they aren't used to her tactics. People that follow our path are very, very seldom raiders by choice full-time.
Very well. Well, if you'll let me, I would like to, with your help, try and convince the others that before we leave, not only do we need to stop the accomplish our mission that we came here to do, but also if we can try and put a stop to these raids.
If there is any way for me to meet her, I would gladly do so.
I feel like it's the least we can do to help Anya, since her whole family is apparently dead. Maybe we can at least make her home safe before we leave again.
Agree. There's nothing I would like to see more then that utters a very, very foul curse and name that should not be repeated in Norsean if I
Voldemort?
were to see her dead. Yes. we'll
That's now
we'll call it
canon.
that.
She who shall not be named.
Very well. Now then,
Yes.
with that settled, teach me about this ale. It smells odd.
So
I've had-
in the brewery, Patrick, I would like to make up a batch of the
That'll take a while. It's not like
You're
you
gonna
gotta
leave
make
it
a
to
batch
prepare
of
and come
ale
back-
overnight.
yes, but I'm going to at least prep it, and if I can find someone else that's find a servant that's working in it, explain to them what I'm doing and how to do it, how to finish it up.
You'd probably have more success earlier. I mean, earlier in the day, it is nighttime. This probably is, it is probably like unattended because they probably just left it to continue overnight. So you could probably return the next day to learn more of the details.
Fair.
But you can at least look at the machinery and the stuff that they use. I learned more about brewing in the last 3 days because of the questions you've been asking me than I have known in my entire life. So
Yeah, you're welcome.
but you could probably look, find out some more tomorrow. Find someone who operates it. Piotr, Drith, Corvette, Artyom, or Kadiak, you guys have anything else that you wish to do in the evening?
I don't want to occupy too much time, so if we jump to some other people and permit them to have their moments in the spotlight, but I did tell Corvette that he and I needed to have a conversation.
We will
about
But
our angels.
about our heavenly guides. Yeah. I don't want to have a night. I want to have one night where Corbett doesn't cause any kind of drama at all, or doesn't add to anything.
Good luck.
So tomorrow night, let's talk. And I pull out a dragon chess set and be like, anyone want to play? And that's what Corbett will be doing until he goes to bed.
Great.
Truth will play chess with Corvette
Piotr?
and drink tea.
So I'm assuming pretty much everybody, aside from stragglers in the party, has gone to bed at this point.
I mean, there's a few servants about, but no, pretty much everyone, or some guards. There are some guards that are still awake.
Piotr's just curious about like what life is like here and like their culture and stuff. So he's just gonna chump around, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Chump.
it'd be very similar from where you're. I mean, the only difference is they probably wear slightly warmer clothes since they're farther north than you. They're all part of the Empire, and the Empire does, thanks to, one, the way the Empire controls everything through its feudal system, and two, the massive religion, the Empire, the culture of the Empire is pretty much uniform across almost the entire, with some minor differences, minor local differences, but particularly in the noble households, the nobility strives to live to the same standard that's upheld in Ostrava, the capital. So that way they, the local people probably have, definitely have some more differences than the nobility would. So it's, as you wander around, you see it's very similar to standard fare of the, what you're used to back in Vinhelm.
Wait, where are you from, Piotr?
Blah, 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 blah. A plot appropriate amount of letters in a specific order.
Vinhelm.
Vinhelm. I was getting there. It's on that monitor.
I mean, I did just say it like 2 seconds.
Did you? I didn't hear it, to be honest.
That's okay. I'm used to you ignoring me.
Oh, that Vinhelm. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Vinhelm. Anyway, sorry. What about this rating issue? Is there like anything that?
I mean, you're familiar, particularly with what you did. You're familiar with Norsean raiders. You know that, you like Kadiak said, it is out of season for them to be raiding, which makes you think that this Podara has something that she really wants to prove. to particularly raid a target as Cordovan at this time of year. So you're very familiar with the raiding, and you also you have tactics that are used to counteract these raids, in Vinhelm and in places. I mean, you aren't as concerned with the northern part, because of where Vinhelm is. You're concerned with the central sea. But you know some tactics that you're very aware of the problem, and how you're very educated on the problem and how to deal with it, at least in your way.
Wait, question.
Yes, possible
Did
answer. See if they line up.
Odara decide to invade Russia in winter?
Oh shoot, yes, basically yes, and she was successful. At least it's getting close to winter.
On winter is coming. On the back of that mistake shall her empire fall.
It's a good thing she doesn't have an empire. But okay, so Artyom,
Very good thing she doesn't have an empire.
you see that Corvette and Drith are playing dragon chess.
Drift. That piece doesn't move that way.
What are you talking about? Horses go wherever they want.
It goes forward.
Have you ever tried to
I've
tell a
been a
horse
horse.
not to go somewhere?
It goes in like an L shape.
Artyom. That's not. Do you want me to turn into a horse? I'll
No.
This horse can go wherever it wants.
I mean,
Propriety, not in here.
move that one. That one goes all the way forward.
I can't move. That's a castle.
It moves.
And that's where
But
us
castles
three
don't
are.
move.
Transition C.
Piotr's just gonna observe and think, character building. And then he's gonna turn in for the night.
Okay. So, Zhelaniye, you have been taken by your sister to her private
She's
quarters.
not abducted, just taken.
Just
Liam
will
needs
find-
to come
we will
after
find
me
her.
and
She's coming
find
after
me.
But so she's taken you to her private quarters and to her chamber, her like study that's off, the side of her and her husband's room, and she, there's, she has a desk where obviously she does, writes things, or and then there's also a circular table, and she, has two chairs at it. There's books lining the the shelves that line the walls, and she sits down and motions for you to sit in the other table and goes, "We have quite some catching up to do. Been gone for quite a while."
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I should go first, but I already know everything that happened with me, so...
I mean,
You okay?
I'm fine. It took a while to adjust to our family's circumstances. I should tell you, Vitali's not well. I didn't want to say it in front of your friends, but he suffered bad injuries in the attack, and he's not been quite the same.
What kind of injuries?
I mean, besides the physical scars that line his body and apparently yours, mental, emotional, he's, it hurts him to think sometimes. To think. Which is why he
It's
relies so much on his
It's
steward.
his favorite thing to do.
Yes, it is. And he doesn't read as much as he used to. He still reads a lot, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, probably more than either of us put together.
Yes. But other
I
than
mean, to be honest, I haven't read a book since I saw you last. So
that's a shame.
I haven't worn a dress since I last saw you last. So this is really nice to not be dressed awful all the time.
But you look beautiful.
Gil, you do as always. Just, the way you always are.
But other than those things, life hasn't changed much. I stay here while my husband goes off to do business. One day, hoping to get pregnant and provide him a son. Vitali rules. We're trying to find him a match, but it's difficult with his conditions. Not many women are desirous to marry into that. We're trying to see if we can get it under more control with medicines and magic, but we haven't had much success. But other than that, life continues on. We do our best to uphold our family's legacy and prove our place in this world. Because of our horns and our tails, there are many that think we don't deserve it.
Yeah, the constant fight. Like Father always used to say.
Yes, like Father always used to say.
Don't you ever get tired of it?
Sometimes, yes. Very tired, but I know better things are coming.
Oh.
I have faith. Not the kind of faith that the priest has, certainly, but
I mean, no one has the kind of faith that Artyom has. So,
seems like an interesting character.
yeah.
But please, tell me what happened to you. 3 years is a long time to not come home.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. So I ran for a very long time. Went, out away from the city, as far as I could. Because I didn't know who the people were, and I didn't want to accidentally run right back into them or someone who knew them or something. So I just kept going until I found a house. There was an old lady in the house. I stayed with her for a while. She needed a lot of help. So, I did what I could. I never felt like I could leave until, one day age caught up with her. And I could go.
One day you'll be willing to tell me the truth, and I'll be here. But not till you're ready. Do you understand? I don't want to push you, but I love you very much. I've missed you so much. And to see you here again is a dream come true.
Someday maybe I'll tell you. But it's not something nice to hear, and it's not something I want you to have to think about. I wish I didn't have to think about it either.
I understand. So let's think of happier things.
Yes, like what? I've forgotten how to do that.
Well, I mean, your friend Corvette. He's a handsome man.
Yeah?
Yeah, very handsome, and he's lying about who his father really is he not?
Oh, yes, no, he does that, yeah.
Yes. No.
Him? Yeah, he lies.
My servants did introduce you as an entourage of the Pesek family. Is he really the boy, our son?
Yeah, he is. He's a lot more than most people. I imagine you notice his eyes as well.
I was just about to say, he is an ASMR.
Yeah.
Anya is betraying you, Corbett.
I know.
He doesn't know.
Okay. Brayden knows.
I mean, but he's a
Brayden is
handsome
a
man. He'd be a very good match.
Yeah.
Unless I'm getting the wrong idea here.
I am still so just trying to be a person again.
It's fair.
And I never had to think about anything if I didn't want to before, so
It's true. But it's different now. You are an adult, and our family is small. And, again, no pressure when you are ready, but we do need to grow our family again. But no pressure. Take your time. It's been so good. It's so good to see you again, Sheila. I can't even describe the happiness I feel.
I'm almost as tall as you now, and that's weird. That's really weird.
I mean, it's just, it's, he is, I mean, you are pretty much me. Looking at you is like looking in a mirror, except for the horns.
And some other things.
And some other things. I have scars too. They're just not on my body.
Yeah, I know about those too.
You must be tired, and I don't want to keep you awake too long, and we'll have more time to talk with each other. I was going to go see Vitali tomorrow if you and your friends wanted to come to the city with me.
Oh, I will have to ask them if they're okay with that.
Of
I'm
course.
sure Druid specifically likes to just go and look at everything, so he probably wanted to go look at stuff.
Well, we can definitely take the scenic route. Please, let me show you to your room. Had it very specially prepared for you. So yeah, she takes you off to a room very specially prepared for you. And yeah. Anyone else have anything that you want to do with your evening before you go to sleep?
Nope.
Rumination Station, baby.
Alrighty.
I want to get a little bit of fabric. Like very nice quality fabric. And some scissors.
Alright. Okay. You
I'm gonna
definitely
work
have
on
a
stuff during the night before I go to sleep.
servant would be more than happy to provide that for you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Cadillac. Your dreams are quite fitful. You do not rest well. And you awaken to the sight of an elven-looking woman with purple eyes and red hair sitting in a chair next to your bed. And it's not a chair that was in your room before. This is like a chair that Maeve brought with her. It's because it looks like she just grew a tree into a shape of a chair, and she's just sitting there with a little teacup. And
As she does.
and she says, "It's about time you're awake. I've been trying to wake you up for hours." She's like, "You're so..."
Long day.
I can imagine, particularly hearing about Podara.
Yes, and he is a little bit less than he's a little bit less reverential than he was before because he is distracted about Podara, but he quickly remedies that and gives her a proper bow and stuff. She has been the fact that she's here.
She's
It's
moved
been
on.
haunting the fact that
She's no longer here in Cordovan. She's not anywhere near Cordovan, in fact. But your paths are very much on a collision course. Unfortunately.
I knew they always would be.
Yes, she.
How close is she? Could we catch her?
You could, but there's other more important things for you to do here first before you go chase after her. She's far too reckless and dangerous, which is why I prefer you as my champion, but unfortunately, one of my rivals likes recklessness and danger and has chosen Podara as his champion, which is why she is so brazen and strong in her assaults.
I was afraid that was the case. Even within in the forest, I never her to attack Cordovan or be that careless. She's always, well, no.
No, it's if it was not for, if it was not for the the aid that she'd been receiving from my rival, she would never have dared. But she's grown quite powerful since you last met her, Kadiak.
Has she completed the next step of the path?
That's why she's returning. She's going home to hopefully finish the path of the Erdine and receive its full benefits. That she has one more stop she plans to make on the way first, and hopefully you'll be able to catch her. And it's imperative you do, because my rival is not
I
on
agree.
my rival's not on the same side of this fight that I am. He'd much rather see the other side win.
Where she's going to stop, though?
Sorry, you kind of turned robot-y there. What was that?
Where she's going to stop, though?
I can't tell you that, unfortunately. It's rules. You'll understand one day. You probably won't understand one day. But she has one more stop, and you'll know where it is soon enough. But
Do I still prepare the city in case she returns?
oh, certainly,
because-
you want these people. You want the people of Mordvir to like you as much as possible, right? And it would help earn the trust of several of your allies. You should definitely be preparing the city, particularly if
I inform them that move on, or is there a chance that she could come back, or that
Oh,
those that
if you don't succeed in stopping her, she'll be back. And Cordovan will not stand if she comes back, no matter what you prepare.
the way the city must be prepared? Those that raided with her probably learned from her, unfortunately.
They did. She's managed to even gather those of other paths under her banner.
That has happened
Not happened
in the ancient times.
only in the ancient times. She's the people. If you go home, there are people of the tribes hailing her as the next chosen of the elders, hailing that she will unite the tribes and lead them against Mordvir, and eventually to other parts of the world, and bring all under the rule of the Norse, which would deeply disturb the balance and is not in line with the paths at all.
That is not the way that it should be.
No, it is not.
Spreads it should spread naturally, not through conquer.
Precisely. Glad that we have an understanding. But
I do.
I figured I'd
Prepare
warn
the
you.
city in case.
Yes, but be warned, not everything in this city will be as it seems. There are other things.
I thank you for your sight.
Of course. You have my eye.
And you have mine.
With that, you kind of like jolt awake and like you had just like woken from a dream, and Maeve's gone
With the chair?
with the chair.
With the chair.
All right. And with that, I think we'll actually, take our brief 5 to 10-ish minute break there for the evening. And so we'll be back in just a little bit. Please don't leave. We go continue the story. Thanks for coming by. We will see you in a bit.
Bye.
Want to learn more about the world of Inara? Click the link below to go check out the official Inara and Ready to Roll wiki. As such, the Tsar delegates his authority in a feudal system. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are going to pick up where we left off. Okay. So you awaken the next morning. There are servants who come around and just knock on your door to wake everyone up, informing you that there is, breakfast downstairs when you are ready. I assume that you all stumble down or walk down, depending on your level of alertness. Varying different times. Svetla is down there. She's reading a letter in one hand and eating like just a bowl of like porridge or oatmeal or something in with her other hand, and she greets you all as you walk in. Eventually, when everyone is gathered, she does look at him and says, "Today, I was going to go visit my brother, Vitali, in Cordovan. I was wondering if you would all like to accompany me and my sister when we went to go see him."
Yes.
That would be good, yes.
That'd be great.
Things I'd love to take care of in the city and to see it as well.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
Perfect. Anyone opposed? Then let us be on. Then
Nope.
once we finish our meal, we will be on our way.
Just want to put this out there and make note of this. I have not put that armor back on. I am just in a different dress, hanging out in real person clothes again. That's the thing.
Patrick's like, allow me to insert this deadly
I know. Insert
encounter."
random encounter here.
Random encounter and Zhelaniye just can't. You are well protected. There is an entourage of guards that do accompany you, and it's not very far off to get to Cordovan. It's probably like 2-3 hours to get there tops, if that. She is going at a leisurely pace. There are horses. Each one of you has been given a horse for you to ride.
Ooh. You
And
got horses.
Side saddle, like a lady.
so, so you look at the scenery as you go. You see, trees and, other, the things that you've been seeing before. It is getting a little chilly as winter is coming. And, after a few hours' ride, you approach the gates of Cordovan. Cordovan is surrounded by a large stone wall. From a distance, it looks like a medium-sized city. It's not as big as Barrelgrad was, but it's not small like Ermog was. It's medium-sized. You do see that it looks like there was extra reinforcement, recently placed around. You see remnants of, spikes that have been placed into the ground in front of the walls and stuff. And, it does, there are more guards than you would normally expect at a city gate. But of course, they recognize Svetla immediately as she approaches and open the gates and let you in. And you come into the town, and you can clearly see signs of its rebuilding from a recent attack. There are scaffoldings on buildings as well. Some still bear scorch marks, things like that. But it's other than that, you would guess that it's just an average town, hustling and bustling, people moving around. You can see in the center of the town, kind of up on this plateau, hill thing, you can see a large castle that you are guessing was probably Zhelaniye's childhood home. It's kind of near the edge of the city. Sorry, not the center. I misspoke. It's near the edge of the city, actually, near the edge of one of the walls. And you guys are making your way there. You do pass by some shops and stuff as you're going, and Svetla does say you can take some time and do some shopping if there's any desires to do any of that. If anyone has things that they want to buy or sell.
Oh, sell. We have some special stones that we should sell for money.
Money. They were the tourmaline stones, something like that.
Worth
Yep.
100 G, if I'm correct.
100 G each. There's 10 of them. We each got one and put 4 into the coffers.
I also apparently have 20
Oh.
ancient dwarven coins. I don't know if they have any value to Katiak, but if they don't have value to Katiak, I want to sell them.
That's me.
Can Drith find someone who's who can figure out what the bag he has is?
Yeah, you
Yes,
can do that.
and the green potion I think that Anya has.
Yeah. So, the dwarven coins, you managed to find a collector atom that would each coin would be worth about 2.5 gold each. Is what he's willing
Hang
to
on.
give you.
Mike, did you say give them to you?
I said you can have them. They mean nothing to me.
Okay, cool. What's 2.5 times 20?
40, 50.
50.
Sweet.
Yep. And then so you do find someone. He's a low level magician. He's not particularly powerful, but has a knack for the identification spell. So he'd be willing to identify these things for you. If you he does, however, ask a price of 15 gold pieces per item he is identifying.
Oh,
Holy.
funny words, magic man. I don't know what I was
sounds
quoting
good.
there.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Actually, he's going to ask way more than that, technically, as I just looked up the identify spell, because it requires a pearl worth at least 100 gold pieces. So technically, he should be asking
Listen, I'm
100 gold
doing you a
pieces
favor.
per item that he's identifying.
But it doesn't consume the pearl. He just holds on
That's
to
true.
it.
He doesn't consume it, so he will only ask for 15. Thank you for pointing that out.
There. Thank you.
Does not consume. That is correct.
I had a wizard in a past campaign and in my current campaign, so I remember some of the material
identifying
components.
Is correct. So 15 gold pieces per item you wish to identify.
All right. I'll toss in 15 for one of them.
Yeah, I'll toss him 15 for the bag.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
the bag is a bag of holding.
Say it.
It
Yes!
is a bag of holding.
Yay!
We knew it.
It is a bag of holding, and the potion is a potion of climbing.
Oh,
What in the world?
Yes.
I think that's
Spider-Man.
Anya.
Spider-Mancer does whatever a Spider-Mancer does.
I think the term is arachnomancer. Which I learned in Lydia's one shot. But cool. Yeah, so there's-
While we're kind of hanging out in the store, I'm gonna quietly go I feel like we're walking into a really bad situation. Thoughts? If we're literally just going to walk into the castle, great, we're in, awesome. Could be stupid.
Could be stupid.
I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
100%.
I have the most suspicious PCs in the world.
Patrick,
We've
What
been
would make you
hunted
think that this would
From
be fine?
city to city.
I mean, you have good reason for feeling suspicious.
I do want to talk to Vitali. Is that how you say his
Vitaly.
name?
Vitaly.
Vitali. Okay. So sorry. I want to know about what happened to him. I want to see if it reminds me of what happened to me.
I mean, Sveta says that he doesn't remember.
And that could be true. But I would like to ask if that's all right with you. If not, I won't.
I mean, I just don't know what we'll get out of it. We can try, but
But if this is all really...
those people in the woods said that this is some sort of place where the guard comes and hangs out or something.
Mm-hmm. So,
So
but if it's a really stupid idea, maybe we shouldn't just walk in the front gates.
I mean, I'm going in, and I think that I'm going to be extremely obvious going in with Sveta and her being like, "Hey, It's Shella, she's back. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's much that I can or will do about that. So I understand if the rest of you are not going to come in, if you want to, preserve your own lives or something. But
Nope. We're going in.
Yeah.
Is anyone choosing to not go into the castle?
Nope.
I have to. Gotta be able to smack some faces if people try to kill my party members.
Yes. Do I want to? Okay.
All
We're
right.
good.
So, the so you can, after you've done your shopping and your selling, you do continue on your way, and you find yourself at the gates of Castle Katenkov, and the guards open it, and as you walk in, you do hear murmurs and whispers as they are looking at the woman who is accompanying Svetla. As you enter in, to Zhelaniye's surprise, you're not going towards the Great Hall or where you would expect the Baron to be, holding his meetings. Instead, you're winding up somewhere where you found Vitali quite a lot. You're going up towards the library, where Vitali spent much of his time. You arrive at the library, and standing outside the library, you see a half-elven woman. She looks up as you approach, and she bows and says, "Lady Svetla, it's a pleasure for you to come again." And she stops and looks at Zhelaniye and then looks at Svetla. And who are these people with you? And
Drith, it's one of you.
It's Svetla motions to Zhelaniye and says, "This is my sister." And the woman kind of appears a little taken aback. It's like, "Your sister, she's dead." And Svetla says, "Well, we never recovered her body. She's alive." The woman pauses for a moment, kind of uncertain of what she should do, but eventually she smiles and says, "I'm sure Baron Vitali would be quite happy to hear that his sister's alive. He's inside he's inside with Mitya. They're discussing things that the recovery efforts from the raid." And Svetla nods, and they, the door opens, and you walk in, and you see another gray-skinned, red-eyed tiefling. This time a male. He has his hair kind of pulled back into a tight ponytail. He's wearing clothes that seem like a little bit, noble clothes that seem just a little bit too big for him. The same kind of greens, green colors that Zhelaniye usually wears. His eyebrows are kind of furrowed as he's sitting there trying to read a letter. Standing over his shoulder is a middle-aged human who has he has dark hair and a full beard, and he's sitting there, and as you walk in, you can hear him. He's explaining, "We've received offers of aid from from further south. They would like to send us, they'd like to send they'd like to send aid. Sylvari is offering recovery, help in the recovery process." And Vitali, he rubs his temples after he's put down the letter, and then finally the man notices you, and and he turns and bows. "Lady Svetla, it's a pleasure to see you. And Who's this? He says, looking at Zhelaniye. Svetla, again, does the introduction of this is Zhelaniye.
So I'm gonna. Is there like a chair next to Vitaly at all or anything?
No, there's not. He's
Okay.
sitting at a desk and he has the only chair. I mean, there are other chairs in the room, but not at where he is currently.
Okay. So I'm gonna walk over to where he is, very much like holding eye contact with the steward guy. About as stone faced as I can manage. I don't like him already. But like, excuse me while I talk to my brother first. And then I'll like take a knee next to Vitaly and like put my hand on his arm.
He kind of looks down and then he looks at you. And he just looks confused, is part of it. He just looks really confused. And he's just like, who are you?
Hey, you remember? It's Zhela.
Zhela.
Mhm.
Zhela! And he starts getting super excited. It's Zhela, he says, pointing at you. It's my sister. And he stands up and lifts you up with him. It's so good to see you. I thought you were, but you're dead. We held a funeral.
Only a little dead. Mostly okay.
He looks at Svetla. Svetla, it's our sister. It's Zhela. And Svetla is just smiling. Says, yes, Vitaly. I know. And he's just, it's wonderful. We've got. He starts gripping his head, and he just doubles over.
I'll like hold him up if I can.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
Sure.
I cast Detect Magic, as I am wont to do.
You do detect magic on. There is, Vitaly has a ring on his finger. Svetla has a ring on her finger that also glows with magic, as does the steward Mitya.
What kind of magic? Hang on, let me read. See what the spell says.
Yeah.
You can use your action to see a faint aura, and you learn its school of magic, if any.
Just basic enchantment.
Okay. Is it evil?
You can't tell if it's evil or not. Magic is magic. It's how it's used that determines whether it's evil or not. It's the person who uses it, not the magic itself.
Can I kind of step forward and I place my hand on his head and I use remove curse. At my touch, all curses affecting one creature or object end. If the object is a curse, I guess I take his hand then and touch the ring. If the object is a cursed magic item, its curse remains, but the spell breaks its owner attunement to the object, so it can be removed or discarded. I don't know if it's really going to do anything, but I'm going to try.
Nothing does anything, and as you get your spell off, and just as you get your spell off, the Mitya slaps your hand away. He's like, "Get your hands off him, please!" And he's reaching down and he's kind of pulling Vitaly away from Zhelaniye, and he looks at Svetla and he says, "You should have warned me that you were coming before you did. He's not well. You know that." Svetla says, "I'm sorry. We had our regular meeting planned." "Yes, but you didn't tell me that you were bringing your sister who was dead." And Vitaly has kind of recovered at this point. "I'm sorry. What happened?" He looks at Zhelaniye. Who's this?" And Mitya holds out his hands. "I'll explain in due time, my lord. But we must first get your medicine taken, so that way we can, do the things that we need to do. That way." But she then looks and says, He looks at everyone else and says, "Please, you consider yourselves guests in this household for the time being. But our Lord is not well, and he needs to prepare himself before receiving particularly this many visitors. I will have guests, I will have servants show you to rooms, and you are welcome to stay here. And I promise, by dinner tonight, Lord Vitali will be prepared to meet with all of you. But please, I'm begging you," he says, looking at Svetla. We need to make sure he's prepared for these kind of things." And at that, he kind of takes, he starts ushering Vitali away before you even have a chance to do anything else. He just ushers.
I'm
Vitali
gonna try
away,
and go with him. Just, I haven't
he
seen him in a very long
turns
time.
and puts his hand out, and he's like, "I understand what I don't understand what you're going through, but
No, you don't.
I can empathize.
So try and be empathetic.
I can empathize. But you just saw what happened. Your presence here brings a lot of bad memories for my lord. And I need, he needs medicine. He needs time. And you will get to see him, I promise you. But I need to prepare him first." And then he opens a back door and ushers Vitali away. And
Insight check on this scumbag dude.
go for it.
Oh, with my +0. That's a 13.
Okay.
Can I give her?
Describe to me how you're going to help her with her insight onto this guy.
Valid.
I will let you
Like
make a
hearing-
separate insight check if you so want. But
Yeah.
I would, if you can,
Yeah. Piotr is equally sketched, so I will do the thing.
All right.
That felt good.
That felt good.
I cracked my back.
Oh, it was like, I realized
And
that. It's like,
it
I
was
love
like from
rolling
my-
dice, but
It was like from my tailbone to like,
Ooh.
yeah, it was
Like
That
good
was
dice
good.
roll right there.
Yeah.
Chiropractic.
nice 13, which I think is literally what she rolled.
So you can tell that he's concerned. He has concern. What exactly
About-
for, you're not positive, but he is concerned. Svetla approaches you as Lizanov and takes you by, grabs you to kind of stop you. Says, "I'm sorry, Zhela, I should have realized this is my fault. Mitya is very, very protective of Vitali, and I just, I should have sent the messenger ahead warning him so that way he could be prepared. I wanted him to be surprised. I wanted him to feel the same joy I felt when I saw you for the first saw you
Understandable. It's
yesterday.
okay.
Um,
I'm sorry. Yes, Corbett.
I turn to Svetla and ask, what does prepare him for visitors mean? What exactly happens?
He takes some medicine. I'm not 100% positive what the process is, but he takes the medicine and he's better for a while. But
Can
What
you
ails
arrange-
him? Sorry.
just
Can you arrange for me to investigate
I can
this?
I can try, but Mitya is very, very careful and protective of who he lets see this potion because he's very protective of our Lord.
Well, I am from the capital, and as you are aware, more than likely, medicine advances faster in more populous areas.
Certainly, I will do my best, but I can't make any promises. I don't hold the same power here that I used to. She then looks to answer Piotr's question. He's been like this ever since our family's massacre. Not only was our family massacred, but most of the household, which is why Mitya is here now. He was, Vitalio. I'll be honest. I recruited Mitya because of his sternness and his willingness to be protective of Vitali, because they knew Vitali needed the stern hand. But it's just we're not sure what is causing these problems. And the medicine helps, promise. But
Okay.
so the maid who you saw earlier, Svetla motions to the maid you saw earlier. Estera, please go and prepare. Show my friend. Show our friends to rooms where they can, and maybe take Zhelaniye to her old room. She bows and says, "Of course, milady." And she, motions for you to follow her. And
Oh man, I don't want to go by myself.
I lean over I kind of step back, but try and like hold everyone back for a second, just whisper, like, I don't think we should go into separate rooms right now. Can we just all hang out in a waiting room together?
I agree. Yeah.
Imagine there are probably there's probably like a common room of sorts in Zhelaniye's quarters, like a sitting room or something like that. From when she was young, considering it's a castle and she was member of the royal household.
okay, yeah, we can say that's a thing.
I mean,
You just got an extra room when you were younger.
So Estera takes you to the room that when you walk in, Zhelaniye realize hasn't changed in a day. Why don't you go ahead and describe what young Zhelaniye's room would have looked like?
I mean, there's not really a ton. There's a bookshelf with like 2 or 3 books on it. There's, the bed's just kind of there. Like a brown covers and stuff. Not really any pretty decorations, no art on the walls. On the dresser, I think there'd be one small like glass figurine of a dancing couple. And that's kind of it. Maybe like a little drawer somewhere has some embroidery stuff, but there's not much else.
Very plain.
That's actually a very accurate description of the rest of the castle. Is very Spartan, very utilitarian, not overly fancy, but yeah. So you are sitting in the common room together, awaiting the next steps, waiting for Tali's.
Is it like dusty in here?
It's dusty.
Or what?
It's a little dusty. They clearly, haven't necessarily taken as good of care of it as they can. But Estera is walking around and like trying to dust things off as you guys are sitting.
Is Svetla and the rest of our entourage with us too?
No, Svetla and the rest of the entourage have gone to. They went to other places.
Cool. Anyone got a weird feeling?
Yeah.
Maybe. Estera, it's okay. You don't have to clean it right now.
No, it's my fault. I'm the head maid. I should have made sure that I should have been taking care of this place anyway. I
mean, you had no reason to. It's all right.
Please, I beg you, my lady, let me clean this for you. I feel awful that I would let your room fall in such a state of disrepair.
It really is okay. You cleaning right now is actually kicking up a lot of dust, making it hard to breathe in here. It's okay. You can leave it for now. I'm sure there'll be a time later.
She bows and says, "If you insist, my lady," and leaves the room.
When
she leaves, I wait for like a few seconds. Don't assume anyone. There's people listening all the time. Servants are really good at, being quiet and not being noticed.
I do want to open the door and just see if there are guards set outside or anyone just watching, kind of keeping us here?
There are some guards outside. They're not like they're obviously there, posted there, but it's not like they're
Mhm.
but there's not like
They're not like
necessarily
right outside the
people
door. Is like,
there,
oh, okay.
yeah.
So it doesn't blatantly feel like we're being kept against our will. Okay, close the door.
Suspicious.
Doesn't feel that way yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Yes. So-
so suspicious. Why can't she just have a nice reunion with her family?
It never goes
Yeah,
that way in
Patrick,
this
why?
campaign.
Why
it
not,
never goes.
Patrick? It's not up to me to make that decision, Patrick.
We're not managing this story, Patrick.
Anyway. Okay, so what are you
Kadiak is chafing as always about being, in a large building that he doesn't know very well.
Which he's
But-
like almost exclusively been inside for the last month of his life.
Would you like some baby powder?
Kadiak, if you want to go outside and walk the grounds, you can walk grounds.
So assuming that the room has a balcony or a window of sorts, so he's just going to be standing next to the window, at least, so he can make sure that the outside world's still there. But I don't know that I care for this steward of your brothers. He is stern, yes, and your sister, who I trust so far, hired him, but to be here so conveniently the perfect person to take care of your brother after the massacre, I don't know that I trust him.
I mean, to be fair, that's what stewards are there to do, is to be the perfect person that you need. That's their whole job. But no, I hate him too. I hate all of this.
I don't
It's,
like that your brother
I
forgot
expected
you,
to walk
Anya.
in and see a bunch of creepy monsters and, runes on the walls and whatever, and it's just creepy how normal it is.
So you're more disturbed by the fact that it's not all that different than you are than you would be if it was more like a dungeon.
Yeah.
I want to go. And obviously, focus on the people in here first, but I would like to go looking for the steward. And I want to extend the invitation for Corvette to come with me since we are both men of the cloth-ish. I mean,
Men
I
of
am
the
a man of
wing.
the cloth. It's
Right. Yeah, I can.
I need your
I will assist you.
I need your authority just in case we have to bully the steward.
It would look weird if the blind man was wandering around the halls by himself.
Why would that be
No.
weird? It'd be like, I couldn't find the bathroom, I took a wrong
He could
turn,
just-
and now I'm just kind of...
Sometimes
He could just let out a screech every 2 seconds and just say that he's navigating by echolocation.
Can you bring the
Well,
before we go to that, Drith was trying to say something.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just talking to Anya, just saying, Anya, I really don't
Yeah.
like that your brother forgot you. I think that was the worst part of
Anybody
all
else hear Drith?
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
yeah, we hear him.
We're all here.
I just can't hear him for some reason.
We're all
Oh,
sitting in the
I
same
thought-
room. What are you talking about,
No, no,
Katia?
I think he means literally.
It's like, I hear Drith. I hear Luke. Yeah.
I think that was a technical
Okay.
note. Anyway, sorry.
Drith doesn't like the fact that your brother forgot you.
Yeah.
It's very weird. And I would.
Yeah. Seta warned me about it last night. But... Oh. If I have to remind him sometimes, I'll remind him sometimes.
It's definitely weird, but it's not unheard of for traumatic events to have effects like these. I am curious in this person whose name Ian is forgetting currently, though. Di- like, how did he seek you? Was he seeking your brother out?
The steward?
After the steward, yes.
Mitya?
So that said she found him.
Mitya.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes. That assuages some of my concern.
Not
Enter.
mine.
Not mine.
Some of it, not some of
So-
it. He's still suspicious. It was like out of character, obviously. Originally, my thought was like, so this dude just shows up knowing that this. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. That's why I'm suspicious.
That's just something
mean,
we'll
I'm
need to ask
suspicious.
about tonight, I think. You know, the whole, oh, Mitya, where are you from? Oh, wow, that's so great. My cousin lives just down the road. You know, the nice talking that people do.
Yeah. I thought it was odd that he was so concerned, almost as if he was concerned that we would see your brother in that state, even though, even that you would see your brother in that state, even though, I mean, of course, a person who has experienced what he's experienced, of course, we wouldn't judge him. I don't know. Interesting comportment.
And you also have to understand, and you'd remember this when someone in a public position of prestige has a weakness, they don't want people to see it. You know, sometimes it's to keep people's trust in them that they are capable, and sometimes it's to hide a weakness that could be exploited. That's something that we were very used to talking about growing up. It could be that in my brother's more lucid moments that he requested this. You know?
That's valid. That's valid.
I had a lot of awful moments between leaving here and returning, and I would not want people to see me in those moments either.
Understand. I still feel a bit uneasy, and I don't think that I'm the only one. But I guess we will see.
So what's the plan?
I want to talk to this steward and examine this medicine.
I was going to say, Patrick, could I make a medicine roll to figure out if I know what's wrong with him? Or what seems to be ailing him?
Sure.
If you get close.
$21.
Wow.
And your best guess is post-traumatic stress. I mean, you've seen it from raiders who come back and
Yeah.
suffered, or like raiders who weren't adjusted for their first time taking a life, or first time, going out on a raid. Sometimes it happens; they come back and they just, get stressed. His symptoms are very, very, very pronounced, but that's your best guess.
Would I have any remedies, or would I know of any remedies that would help that? Or
Your tribes relied on more mystical remedies to try to cure this, so nothing, and the herbs you would need to help do those rituals would not be readily available to you here. So, Artyom and Corvette, you want to go try to find Mitya?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
I'm bringing Corvette as my guide.
So as you walk outside, you see two guards. One is, they're standing there, and as you begin to walk away, one of the guards goes and starts to follow you.
Excellent.
We're being
Want to turn around
followed.
and say, "Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
I seek the steward."
Mitya. Unfortunately, Steward Mitya will be with my lord, with Lord Vitali at this point. He's
Excellent.
administering
Please
the
take me to him.
medicine. They have been asked to not be disturbed.
Excellent. This is a very important matter.
I'm afraid that I can't. I have my orders. You must understand.
How about you point him in the right direction, and we'll take it from there.
I'm afraid I can't do that. I've been very, very specific instructions to not be disturbed. You can give me a persuasion check if you want to try to persuade him.
Corbett, you do it.
I am just staring, mustering all of my regality and nobleness that I have,
See,
and
you
just
don't
like
understand.
focus.
This man
On
is
him.
very important here.
Oh,
And
we're
I
gonna
am
use
a-
that trump card now.
Yeah,
Gonna pull rank?
Yeah.
All right, so I rolled a 9 plus my 8 is 17.
Hey, let's out a sigh. Steward Mitchell will not be pleased.
Quickly,
Go
tell
down-
us a name. Tell us the name of a guard you really don't like.
Just follow me. I'll show you.
Open it up.
Myself.
Well, you should really, work on that self-confidence. Like,
La-
it's
Guard
hard working
laughs
with
in
us.
self-loathing.
Anyway, so he leads you down the hallway eventually to where he says Vitali's room is, and he says they should be inside still. Make your matter. Try you can plead your case to Mitya, but I doubt that he'll let you see my lord at this moment.
Very well. Are you not going to announce?
No, we've got it.
We do. Huh?
So okay, we step inside, right?
We're not just gonna walk in. That's
Oh.
rude.
I thought he said just go on in. I'm
And
used to
everything
just-
else you did, it was not rude.
I'm just gonna
We
go
don't
on
want to
in.
overstep our bounds here.
So you're gonna just open the door.
My whole goal that I guess
Yeah,
I should have
open-
communicated
Open the
is I
door.
want to examine the medicine, and I want to examine the brother, and try and see if I can figure out if there's something more than just PTSD and concussive injuries and stuff like that.
Yes. So we go in, and I do open the door and close it gently. I don't want to make too much ruckus.
So you
Do we see anyone in this room?
Yeah,
immediately?
you see. So it's
Second.
it's bigger than Zhelaniye's room, but again, kind of mostly decorated like Zhelaniye's room was. Except that the most fancy thing about this is the 4-poster bed in the center, in kind of the center of the back wall, and you see Mitya is putting a cork into an empty bottle and setting it on a desk nearby, and he's then takes Vitali by the hand and starts to help Vitali into bed, and he looks up. And he finishes laying Vitali down, and Vitali looks very peaceful. And his eyes are very, droopy, and he looks up, and Mitya looks up, and he goes, "What are you doing here?" And
I'm just gonna put a finger to
he
my
comes
lip.
over and he starts motioning for you to go back out the door.
I shall not move
He
because I can't see hand waves.
he stops in front of you and says, "Get out of here now. We can't disturb Lord Mitya."
I'm not here to speak to Vitali. I'm here to speak to you.
Lord, then get out. Then we can talk out in the hall. We don't need to be in here.
This is why we were supposed to knock.
So he takes you out into the hall. He looks and says, "Is there a particular reason that you ignored the express instructions I gave to not disturb Lord Vitali?"
ha.
It was a slip of the tongue. It wasn't an actual slip of the tongue.
Freudian.
As you may have noticed, Lord Vitali did not notice us, and therefore was not disturbed. You have made it quite difficult for us to speak with you, and as such, offer the aid that I bring. You see, I am a priest of the capital, and would be interested in seeing if I can assist your lord in improving his health through more modern medicine. However, I would need to be able to examine what you are giving him, and with your permission, and in time, examine your lord himself.
I am
Obviously,
from the
in a
capital.
non-intrusive and a very, polite manner.
I am from the capital.
How recently?
I moved here before, I lived in the capital before I came here shortly after the slaughter. The massacre.
How long ago?
However, I forget. Like we said, it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago.
3.
3 years ago.
It's 3 years. I've lived here for 3 years, but I still have connections back in Ostrava. I assure you that I have obtained the best medicine for him.
When was the last time you had a priest here? I have noticed that one is missing from your, or at least was not present that I have noticed.
We have a priest here every week. He comes and he helps administer. He comes and checks up on my lord every week.
I don't understand why you are so.
Because you are strangers in my household.
Vehemently opposed.
Patrick.
Yes.
Sorry for the interruption, guys. With him being from the capital and being a steward, have I heard of his reputation at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Look, I believe that you have the best interests for my lord in heart, but you're strangers. How can I trust you? You show up with a woman who claims to be Zhelaniye, Katenka, lo siento. Katenka. You show up with a woman who claims to be Zhelaniye Katenka, and now you want to examine my lord's medicine. I don't know your credentials. You could simply be disguising yourself as a priest.
My dear good steward.
Prove that,
My good steward, I understand wanting to protect your lord, and you take your role very important. I respect that. Might I just inquire how come you came all the way from the capital to here right after when a disaster happened?
I mean, it wasn't immediate. It was a few months after the massacre had happened. Lady Svetla was in the capital looking for someone to take the place of the steward that had died, and she deemed that I was a worthy fit.
What happened to the former steward?
He was killed in the massacre. Most of the household was killed in the massacre.
So not just the family. Okay.
All the original servants and things are, there isn't anyone from the original household alive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The only survivors are Vitali and apparently Zhelaniye. I assure you, I don't mean to be rude, and I don't mean to seem boorish. I need proof that you have my lord's best interests in heart. I will be happy to let you examine my lord and examine the medicine. I understand that you're trying to help him. I find
you are wasting my time and permitting your lord to suffer, and I'm going to turn around.
You're gonna what?
Turn around and walk away, and then walk into a wall because I have to remember to pretend.
You don't think that I have spent all the money?
I'm walking away.
All right then, fine. Walk away.
Artem,
He looks at Corvin and says, "Assure your friend that I've spent almost every coffer, every penny that we have left in the coffers to try to find a solution for my lord. And if your friend would like to examine the medicine, he's more than happy to. I will send him some of the medicine as soon as I can. But, examining my lord when he is under the effects of the medicine would not be the best way to diagnose him.
Fair enough. I would assume you would have many, jugs or just vials of the medicine at hand.
Certainly.
With your approval, would you mind if you and I went in together and I just took the vial that you would use today, and bring it back to my friend?
And I can go retrieve it for you. I would prefer that no one, as few people disturb Lord Vitali as possible.
I would be silent as a mouse. Might I just stand in the doorway?
Fine, you can stand in the doorway. He turns and he opens the door and walks in. And you watch him go and grab the exact vial that he'd used before, and he hands it to you. And then he reaches into a pocket in his coat and pulls out another full vial and says, "If you need to, further examine the ingredients." And it's kind of this like brown murky liquid that's in the vial.
Very interesting. Thank you kindly, and might I offer our sincerest apologies, and also
not your fault.
Give Zhelaniye the benefit of the doubt. She is alive.
I will do my best, but it's not your fault. It's the Lady Svetla's for not sending warning. But dinner should be prepared in a few hours. You can speak with Lord Vitali then.
Thank you. I leave with the vials in my hand, and I catch up to Artyom wherever he's wandered off to. I'll be like, start directing him, but with the shoulder. And be like, well, I got you at least the medicine to work with.
You're muted.
You're on mute.
I don't know what it is about me, but every time I attempt to approach somebody, apparently they decide that I am evil and the worst person and therefore will not talk to me. So
You are not evil, Artyom. We both know that. You're more bold than most. And that can rub the wrong way for some people. But you and I know you are not evil. Okay. Will you meander back to the room? And voila, we got the medicine. Hello.
Got the
Anything else
goods.
that wants to be done before dinner?
Well, can we examine this medicine stuff?
Yeah.
I have a +0.
you're not going to figure anything out about it.
I have a +6 to medicine. Let me check.
Oh, wow. Do it.
Oh, that's good.
14 plus 8 medicine is 2.
Right.
Okay. Drift's
ASMR
gonna
up
help
in
you.
here. 19.
Okay.
22 and 19.
22. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, as you are able to disseminate some of the ingredients of it, you do find listed a bunch of herbs that are generally used for in particular like potions of mental clarity. The one that sticks out to you the most is a herb called the Night Hollow. That is it's a primary ingredient used supposed to be used to help clear the mind. However, there is another ingredient in there that you're not 100% certain why it's in there, but it's a very small amount. It's a ingredient called it's literally called the foggy flower because it causes fog to come out of it. And as far as you know, no medicinal purpose for the foggy flower has ever been found. But as far as you can find, it's a standard potion of mental clarity.
What about like cultural significance or whatever? Like, is it some folk remedy?
For the foggy cloud? Not that you're aware of. You know that generally people try to remove it because they don't like the fact that it creates fog.
I feel bad for who's ever taken this stuff. I mean, this stuff, it tastes terrible. They should add some like bumblebush or some sugar snaps or, oh man, this is, ugh.
Are these pretty easily obtained ingredients? All of them listed?
No. They
Not
are
the foggy
not.
No.
flower.
Okay.
None of them are all, and they are, particularly the Night Hollow. They generally, and nothing is very easily obtained. This is a very expensive potion.
Got it. So we couldn't just, go and make your own batch to see if it matches.
Yeah, it would know. It would be a very expensive potion.
I mean,
How much did he give?
that is why I wanted to not just, look at the potion vial.
Well, he
We have a
he
full-
gave you an example. He gave you some of the potion too. But what were you saying, Corvette?
Oh, how much of the potion is the whole vial gone that he gave to Vito? Okay.
We got
But again,
another full dose, right?
You're not sure if that's a full dose. You just know that
Yeah.
potion was just recently emptied.
Got it.
So we have an empty bottle and then a full bottle, right?
Yes.
Well, RTM, you wanted to see him, inspect him?
I mean, if there's something going on, there's no way that
I'm
they're
not
going
going to get
just,
given
like,
the chance.
Yeah.
And examining just the liquid is useless.
Would it be helpful to visit him now? Even though he's asleep?
Is Mitya gonna let you do that? I doubt it. If there is something actually wrong, if there's something actually going on, I'm not going to be able to just walk up into it.
Unless they can't see you.
Yes. What if Mitya's busy?
Yeah, I've already gotten in enough trouble without trying to sneak into it.
Okay.
Do you just need to see the effects of the medicine on somebody?
I'll take
I
it.
mean,
Not at all.
I don't know what I need to see. I needed to actually see the components of the medicine being put together instead of just the aftermath. I needed to see him, see any injuries and things that he might have sustained, because one solid head wound would explain everything. As far as I could tell, there didn't seem to be any evidence of a large scar indicating something that could do damage like that.
I mean, last I saw him, he had blood coming from his eyes.
Well, then it's entirely possible that he's been affected magically. Again, it's nothing that I can figure out without being able to get close to him. However, it feels like the only way to get close to him would be to kill off his steward.
Keep him busy.
That jumped quickly.
I'm not opposed to doing that, it's,
I
on my list
yeah,
somewhere, but if there is some possibility that Mitya is just trying to do a good thing and maybe he's not the source of the problems, I don't really want to kill the person who's been helping my brother for a while.
He did mention that Svetla was in the capital when he was found and when he met her and came out here to be steward.
Yeah. I imagine she went to go find help. She has some connections through Shulek.
Fair.
I mean, if people want to go and try and look and see Vitaly without Mitya there, we need to keep him distracted in some other way, busy doing something else. Or sneak in at 2 in the morning.
You need to prove to him that you're his sister.
Hopefully
That was
that
one of his
will
issues.
happen at dinner tonight.
Okay.
I mean, I
So-
do have this, and I pull out of my bag like the house crest emblem.
Well, my holy symbol didn't seem to do much to persuade this.
I mean, no offense, but it's
stick
a
in the
lot
mud.
harder to get one of these than a holy symbol of a church that's everywhere. Specifically one that goes on top of tiefling horns. Very specialized.
And yet
We
it
have
was
to
so
do.
easy for me to take off.
True. Maybe we killed... Maybe I'm not actually me. Maybe I just found her body and I'm pretending to be her.
Maybe. And apparently I'm not a priest.
I could also offer to help prepare the city for the next raid.
Yeah.
Assuming that the steward cares about the people as much as the Baron does, and as your sister does, then I can't imagine he would turn down help with inside knowledge. That would keep him busy, I imagine.
But would he maybe want to have Vitaly there for that? It seems that Vitaly is involved with these things.
True, he might.
He won't be
Or
there
he
for the
might
whole time.
say, imagine the steward does a lot of the day-to-day. And I would be able to explain to the steward the plan before taking it to the Baron himself.
I imagine if we need to get him away from Vitaly, I could maybe do that. If he is involved with the guard and all of that, there's a reason they came for us. And, they seem to be really weirded out that I'm here. It could be that he is intrigued enough to just sit and talk to me without Vitaly. And while I'm doing that, someone who can turn into a mouse or something like that could go in and take a look.
All right.
Though if it needs to
I'm
be
up for
Artyom
it.
to go and look, that might be a little trickier.
Could he?
Could I pretend to be Artyom's pet mouse and run under the door, and Artyom has to chase after me?
I have a pet mouse that I can speak to.
Oh.
Well, look at that. Everybody's got animals but me and Anya.
And me.
And okay,
I
there
don't
are
have
some
conversations with
people-
any random things that come along. That doesn't happen to me.
All right.
So do we want to do that now, or do we want to wait to integrate all of us a little more into the household, maybe?
I think that might be a good
I think
idea,
we should wait.
and maybe another opportunity will present itself. But this
After
is
dinner,
definitely
we could
something to...
After dinner, perhaps Artyom could be tired and head to bed while the rest of us.
I'm not going to be
Stay
doing anything
occupied.
that will get me in trouble. I've already said that. No more of this put Artyom in bad situations thing. We're going to do it right, or we're not going to do it at all.
I mean, we could even just ask
Enough.
Vitaly tonight at dinner.
Yeah.
That's
He
true.
was
I don't
always
ha-
a
I
very
don't have a
curious
sense of
person.
propriety.
I think specifically, no, he's very interested in like chemistry and stuff. So could be that he cares to know about more scientific-y things.
Seems like something he would be curious about.
To dinner it is then?
Do dinner.
I
To
don't know.
dinner.
Drith, you want to look at architecture? Do you
dinner
want to just go walk around? Look at I don't know, archways and stuff.
Drith like grabs his notebook and then like he's giddy with excitement and he's like, "I would love that. Oh, I've been waiting for you to say those words to me."
He's just waiting for permission.
Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna show Drith around. I want to keep my eyes open, just like get a general vibe of the castle and the people in it, how they're acting around us when they can see us, maybe when they can't see us, just kind of if there's any like signs of weird stuff, shenanigans going on, how different is it than when I was here last? That sort of thing.
So was this your favorite archway to sit under when you were young? I guess you are
No,
still
it's
young. I don't
that one way on the other end of the hallway over there. We'll go over that way.
Oh, look at that.
You do notice that there are less servants and members of the household around than there were when you were little. There are a lot less. It seems almost like a bare bones staff is all that is. Which your father kept a pretty bare bones staff, but this is like the barest of bones. And so like it's kind of weird for you to see how few people there are. And so that's the first strange thing that you notice. But you do notice that everyone just seems to be watching you. Like your every step, you're being followed by a guard or you're being followed by a servant or like, and they try to change it up so you don't like get too suspicious, but there's always someone following you. You eventually arrive at the dining
Was
hall.
it always like this growing up?
Not that I
It's kind of
remember.
quiet and a little spook.
Well, you have to remember there's not a lot of, normal, regular people. When I grew up, there was, 4 of us kids running around. Not so much anymore.
So you arrive at the dining hall, and you see Vitali is sitting at the head of the table with Mitya on his right hand and Svetla on his left, with another spot open to the left of Svetla for Zhelaniye. Again, you're sat in a very similar very similar pattern as you were before, with the exception being that Artyom is actually closest to Vitali this time rather than Corvette, because it seems Mitya hasn't made the same connection that Svetla made. And Svetla doesn't seem to
Before
want
we
to
walk
correct
in,
him.
I have something to give to Artyom. Something, maybe if you want to change out the old gross one. And it's like a long strip of deep blue fabric, and in the center of it, in a slightly darker blue thread, is a pair of eyes.
Well, thank you.
Just in case, if you need to make a different impression sometimes. Very nice fabric, wash it nicely, carefully. Okay,
Later.
let's go then.
Put it on. Although you know that I see through the blindfold of magic, right?
I don't know how your life works. You can.
Well, thank you. I shall wear it in formal occasions, which, with the amount of nobles, seems like all the time.
Yes, you're so allergic to us. It's a wonder you're not coughing and hacking up furballs right now.
Well, I have a +8 to medicine to prevent death by anaphylactic shock. So
I have no idea what that means. So +8. Oof.
So the dinner begins. You have very similar conversation. I won't make you repeat your introductions again that Vitali asks for. You have very similar conversations to the way it was, last night at Svetla's table, and Vitali, and Vitali, he doesn't seem as alert and excited as he was before, but he seems more alert, more calm, and almost his personality seems almost muted in a sense. And he's just sitting there. He's nodding as you are all talking. And he looks at Artyom as doing the night, and he says, "So, Mitya told me that you wanted to look at my medicine. Is that correct? You wanted to?"
Yeah.
And tell me, I wonder what your thoughts were. I'm very interested in chemistry and things like that, but my mind isn't quite what it used to be, and so I would like to discuss with someone else, rather than my usual doctor, and see what their thoughts are on the medicines.
Why is there a foggy flower in your medicine?
I can't say. You'd have to ask. You'd have to ask Father Prestov.
That sounds like Brother Preston. Tell me, what do you... Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any purposes to having it in your medicine. The other things seem to be fairly normal, but I feel like without it, they might react better.
Perhaps you're correct. I would need to, of course, also consult with Father Prestov. I'm sure that he would be willing to give you the information as to why the foggy cloud is in there in the first place.
He come from?
I mean, he's the local parish priest. He runs the chapel here in Cordovan.
Where did he come from before that?
I don't know. He's been the parish priest since before I was born. You remember him, don't you, Zhela?
Do I remember him?
Do you? Did you pay that close attention to the priest?
Probably.
You remember a stuffy old man, but
sit through so many stupid lessons learning Celestial and all that trash.
But and you both know the two ASMRs in the group. But
Thanks.
Hey, they should be honored that I speak their language. I should be offended that they don't speak mine.
I don't speak the language of monsters.
Okay. But Mitya says
path to reconciliation. They're not there yet.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Mitya says you'd like to examine me a little bit more to try to determine other alternate other medicines that could be done. Is that something you still wish?
I don't know. Your steward seems to be fairly possessive. Kind of strange for
He's
caretaker.
He's just doing his best to protect me, from my understanding. He wants to, And Mitya nods and says, I apologize for any rudeness that may be perceived, but, again, I remind you that I wasn't expecting guests or visitors, particularly one who returned from the dead.
I'm in your place, steward. I'm speaking to your lord.
And I am the steward of this household.
Can I kick Artyom under the table?
I would ask that you learn your place. And Vitaly kind of holds his hand. Peace.
I lean over to...
Speak their minds at the table. Discussion. I don't want anyone shutting anyone down. Let's just speak freely. It's... He grabs his head. The headaches are returning. And then Mitya stands and says that we should probably conclude the meal then. My lord has granted you permission to come in and do an examination if you so desire, priest.
All right. I
Just that you want your assistant, and he says, pointing at Corvette, to come with you.
Yes, my assistant. Send one of your people to summon Brother Preston.
Brother Preston. I will do my best. He is a he's away. He is in the town rather than in the Ketchula chapel. I'm sure that we can
Very
have
well.
him arrive by tomorrow morning.
I'm certain that he would love to respond to summons from his lord much faster than that.
I don't see the necessity of him responding tonight.
I need to be able to compare while my notes are fresh. You see, I can't take notes.
It's understandable. I will.
Can't.
Oh, send for him, Vitali says. Just get it over with, and he'll be in. Mitya sighs. Very well. I'll send for him. All right. So, Cora and Artyom are being taken off to examine Mitya. What would everyone else like to do?
Does Zhelaniye want to come?
Yes.
Mitya will allow that.
I don't know. Piotr's kind of. Obviously, they don't want to crowd her brother, so he doesn't really want to tag along. But he's like in this strange castle, or whatever. And
Piotr. I bet the acoustics are in here are great. Do you want to have a jam session?
It is later in the evening, and we don't want to disturb people. But if you'd like to walk around and explore some other parts of the castle, I'd be glad to accompany you.
There's
All right.
barely any people to disturb. The guest bathroom in the west wing of the house, it's great. That's the most echoey room that I remember.
Piotr, play with me in the bathroom.
Okay.
I guess we'll go have a sing fest in the bathroom.
Corbett, Artyom, and
Zhelaniye.
Zhelaniye are headed to examine Mitya. So, you arrive at Mitya's quarters, and he's sitting at his desk. He says, "So, how should we begin?"
You sit down and you stay out of my way. And I am going to make.
I'm gonna be like, yes, Mitya, I actually had some questions for you if you care to answer them. I'm sure neither you or I will understand what these, medical people are doing.
I can do my best, Mitya says.
I glance at Zhelaniye and just
So,
yeah, I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Vitali comes and Vitali is sitting and awaiting Artyom to begin. Tell me what you want to do.
Well, I'm going to first roll a medicine check and just, examine the aftermath of the, the whatever 3-year-old scars and stuff from his ordeal for 26.
All right, so you do see scars on his body. You do see a scar on the back of his head. Give me a second. My headset's dying. I need to grab the power cord for it. Sorry.
DM's away. Now we're in charge.
All right, listen here,
Wireless
Stewart.
headset. I can still hear you.
Listen,
Not dead yet.
comes up to curb stomping Mitya.
Anyway, so he does have kind of a scar, a scar on the back of his head, that had been, hidden from view before, since you haven't had the opportunity to really examine the back of his head. But
Do you have a hard time seeing?
no, not particularly. Things are fine.
Normally, being able to see is impacted by getting hit in the back of the head.
Well, I don't seem to have any problems with my sight. I just have the headaches that come.
What happens if you don't take your medicine?
I am in such an immeasurable pain that I'm unable to function.
Have you tried a simple... I don't know what... There's some tree... There's some kind of bark that is an actual legitimate painkiller, but I can't remember what it was.
I think it's from the aspen tree.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
so.
I'm crazy.
I think it's aspen too, but I don't know.
Maybe it's because aspen kind of sounds like aspirin, and I just have that connection in my head.
Yes.
Yeah, aspen, the bark and leaf used to make medicine. Aspen is used for rheumatoid arthritis, nerve pain, and pain due to pressure on the sciatic nerve, supposedly, but there's no scientific evidence to support these uses. But people have used it in the past. Have you tried just simple herbal medicine? Because there is a lot of other magic potions in here. And to be honest, with such a head wound, I am nervous about the amount of mind-altering substances that are in your potion.
I mean, we tried everything for years. This is and some things worked for a while, and then they stopped working as effectively. Even this is beginning to last less and less amounts of time and provide more and more coherence.
What causes the headaches?
When I particularly try to think back on old memories, like when I first met Zhelaniye today.
Where did you get your ring?
It's part of the set Svetla gave to me. One to me, one to Mitya, and one to Svetla. It allows, in case of danger, it's a ring of sending. I can send a message to Svetla or to Mitya and let them know that everything is all right, or that I need help.
Are there any other magical items?
Not. And he just begins gripping his head as he enters an immense amount of pain. As you go in, he suddenly, he looks up and he's looking, his eyes open for the first time, and instead of the red, his eyes are now pure gold. And he, and he just kind of looks at you and says, "The sacrifice. You have to stop the sacrifice. You have to stop." And then he falls back and is unconscious.
I'm going to I'm going to wait for the other dude to come here, and I'm going to just turn and, in the most commanding voice that I possibly can, I'm going to yell at Misha and have him come to me.
And Misha's already rushed to the side after hearing Vitali's voice, and he looks utterly and completely confused.
I do have some questions that I did actually want to ask him, if that
Yeah,
was
that's fine.
possible.
We can do that first before we before we
pull
move
out
on
the
with
timer.
this.
How much time do we have before this goes down?
You're good. Take your time. All right. What questions would you like to ask of?
Yeah, so I appreciate all that you have done to care for my brother. A difficult thing that he and I went through.
Yes, I can imagine.
It seems he got the worst of it. So I wonder though, do you have any concerns? Do you know who it was that came?
There was no evidence.
Have you done any investigations? Do you have concerns that they would return?
Oh, we have done, we've done our investigations. Unfortunately, I'm sure you're concerned about the lack of guards you see around the castle. Our coffers are much lower, particularly with the raid that happened recently, and we've been unable to keep the guard at its normal levels. It was at a very increased level before this raid happened, but Lord Vitali feels it more important to aid in the reconstruction of the city than to protect his own life.
And you have no knowledge, no evidence of anything.
No, there was nothing left when I arrived. Svetla is the one who was in charge of the investigation. Surely she told you all this.
We haven't had much time to talk about things.
I see. Svetla was the one who took charge of the investigations. She would surely have more information for you. I was given very specific instructions by Lady Svetla when I was brought on that I was to protect Lord Vitali and see to his care and help him run the barony from day to day.
How did you meet her?
She found me. To be honest, I managed an inn in Ostrava. Never had dreams of being a steward or anything like that. And she came and found me, and it wasn't an opportunity I could pass up. Strangely enough, I felt like I had to come here. Sold my inn that day. Next thing I know, I'm here in Cordovan.
How truthful is he being?
I mean, as far as you can tell,
you make an-
you can make an insight check to get
Yes,
more
please.
information, but
6.
as far as you can tell, he's being completely honest with you.
How is it adjusting from running an inn to a barony?
It took a little bit of adjustment, but I managed employees, I managed the property, made sure everything was fine. It's not that much of adjustment for me. So I'm not in charge of making the meals or anything anymore, but make sure I balance the checkbooks. I make sure that everything is taken care of. Very similar things running an inn and running a country, I would imagine.
I would imagine not, honestly. Feel like if my father were to manage an inn, it would require only a fraction of his efforts that he spent through his life. Well, interesting. But, like I said, I appreciate your efforts in trying to keep things running. Dang it. Okay. This, I have great interest in discovering what happened to my family. It is a concern of mine that maybe they would return, which, would threaten my life as well.
Certainly. I understand, but I was given very specific instructions that it was not to be my worry, that it was to be Lady Svetla's. And I have been doing my best to be loyal to your family since I arrived.
Interesting tactic to take care of a family by not looking into the gravest danger they ever passed through.
I would be more than happy to, but again, I have my instructions. She wants me to make sure the barony is standing when Vitali finally recovers, or when he has a son or daughter to take over for him.
Well, then maybe if you find the time amidst everything else, maybe I can start you down a path that might help. And I'm going to pull out of my bag one of the masks from the Profane Guard and just set it on the table in the middle, and I want to read his facial expression.
Give me another insight check, because you're so good at those.
Hey, that's a natural 20, though.
Hey.
Ooh.
Hey.
Genuine
Thank you,
surprise.
Miss Fodder.
He has genuine surprise. He looks and goes, "What is this?"
An accessory to the murders that happened in my family. I was there, if you may recall.
I do. I recall.
So I saw a lot.
Lord Vitali has no memories of the event, and Lady Svetla, of course, wasn't there, and you're the only surviving witness, besides Vitali, who, of course, has no memory. Any light that you could shed would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to say it's at that
this
moment
is all...
that
Yeah.
Vitali starts freaking out.
I put the mask back in my bag.
And
All right. What did he say again, Vitali,
He said
specifically?
the
Stop the
sacrifice,
sacrifice.
you must stop the sacrifice. And at this point, his eyes have returned to normal. They're red again.
Is he conscious or unconscious?
He's unconscious.
No.
currently.
Okay. I summon Eladin as a sword and walk over to hold it up towards Mitya and say, "Take off the ring now." The ring of sending.
He pulls it off
Okay,
Now
drop
take-
it.
and
Take
drops
the
it.
ring off of the Lord. And Anya, what does it mean if a tiefling's eyes turn gold?
I mean, you saw mine do that before once.
Yes.
So that was. I mean, I was just using a little spell that I can do. And I do it again to just turn my eyes gold and then back to red.
I'm gonna I'm gonna cast sending, and I'm going to send a message to Kadiak that says, it's 25 words. I suspect a sister.
No.
Don't let her leave. Use magic eye to see through lies. I think that's 16.
Hey, that's nice and concise. And he can respond, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You just get a yeet.
So Misha's like, "What's going on? What just happened?"
I believe that your brother is your lord is under the effect of a magic curse. And no offense, Anya, I believe that your sister and brother Prestov are involved. Misha, you're just too dumb to be involved.
Again, I kind of apologize, but this is an important.
But you also care too much.
don't-
As such, do not give any more of that potion to him.
The only thing
There's
that
a
helps.
There's a mysterious ingredient that we don't know what it does. It's called fog flower. My guess is it's what's suppressing his memories, especially mixed with all of the other mind-altering potions. You see, that's the issue with giving him so many potions at once, is potions don't play nice together.
So he's not getting a lot of potions. He's getting one potion of mind
Oh.
clarity. He's not getting
One
a ton.
potion mixed with all of these other medicinal effects. Medicines don't play nice.
I was just following the instructions I've received from Brother
That's-
Prestov.
I am not blaming you, and let's be fair, the sword wasn't my idea.
Yes, I would kindly request that you remove that from my neck.
No, I thought I already done that, but yes, I take that away.
Now then,
I pick up the ring of sending, the message ring, be like, we can't trust her.
Corvette, put on that ring and send a message that says everything is okay.
Does
He'd be
sending
able to tell it wasn't from Mitch.
come in like of my
Yeah,
voice
it
or
would come in his
something?
voice, so she'd be able to tell it's not from Mitch. Yeah.
Give it Tanya. Just say that he had a spasm and the ring fell off.
What are you talking about?
Just
No, do we think everyone's heard or notices? Was it a loud?
You don't know if anyone's
Moment.
noticed. No one's come in the room.
okay. Well then, Misha, do you have any guards that you know you can trust implicitly?
Yes, I've hired all the guards myself. I trust all
Right,
the guards implicitly.
But ones that you would trust with your own firstborn child. Because let's be fair, you don't trust every guard with that task.
Yes.
Have them, when Brother Prestov arrives, have them bring him to us. He could
Certainly.
be perfectly fine, but we are not here by coincidence, just in case you hadn't noticed.
I still don't understand what's going on. My lady, she says, looking at Zhelaniye, please control your friends.
Yes.
The last
I
time,
don't understand what. Okay, explain, please.
the last time there was a big sacrifice, we all ended up transported in to Pelega Road, and nobody could get out. If you want nobody to be, my hunch would be if you don't want anybody to get in and out of Cordovan ever again, then we don't heed your brother's sudden moment of clarity. However, there are two anomalies here. Mitchja has proved himself to be as loyal as a puppy, even if he and I don't get along. And as such, I trust him. I know all of you. I don't trust your sister, and I don't trust the priest. Especially,
Well, I trust my sister. I've
You-
known her my entire life.
you haven't known your sister in the past 3 years. People can change a lot.
That
Just-
still leaves another, 16 years of me knowing who she is.
Do you know it's your sister? For a fact.
Yes, of course.
How?
Because I know my sister. How would you know it's me? How can you tell that it's me right here, right now? Because you know who I am.
Well, I know it's you, the you that I've known for the past month. That I have
Okay,
spent.
cool. That's enough. I have way more time with Sveta than that.
Look, I don't need to fight you right now. I need to
If
say
you're trying to fight my sister, you're going to fight me, okay?
I'm trying to fight your sister. I'm trying to eliminate the variables.
If I may, Mitcha says. You're making a lot of bold claims. I feel as if some more investigation is necessary. Let's stop a
I
sacrifice.
don't
know what's
understand
going
why
on.
that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been trying to do. I don't know why that is hard to understand.
It's not. I just...
These are the two variables that I don't understand. One of them is giving a mysterious potion to the Baron, who cannot function except for in moments of clarity. The other one is the sister we haven't known for 3 years with the other magic ring. Now, if you will permit me to investigate the two of them, I can clarify this situation.
It's not my call to make. It's Zhelaniye's.
Saint's blood. Okay. I... I'm gonna go turn and try go find Sveta.
Don't go warn her that we're looking for her.
If you're looking for her, then come along.
I'm going with her.
Yes, let's tip our hand to whoever might possibly be involved.
We're gonna call it there for an evening. All right. Thank you for
Patrick. Hate you.
thank you for coming and tuning in. That session definitely did not go the way I thought it would, but yeah, we will be back in 2 weeks. That will be let me double check. That'll be the 24th of February to do on the next session of Ready to Roll Embers Beneath the Mountains. We will also on Saturday, February 20th at the exact same time as normal, we'll be doing a special one-shot called Darkest Devotions. It will be set in the same universe and same time, same universe as as Embers Beneath the Mountains is, but it'll be taking place about a year before the events of Embers Beneath the Mountains starts. So tune in, see that if you want to get some juicy details that otherwise you'll be missing out on. But yeah, thanks for coming out. It's been a lot of fun. We will talk with everybody later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya!